The film you're about to see has no characters, it has no people. It is a film to describe to you and explain visually the effect of cymatic frequencies on texture, structure, water, oil. If you spare a little of your imagination as you watch this film as it runs, you will see many things that answer many questions. You will see living forms, living amoeba, almost animal-like creatures. You will see continents being formed, the earth itself coming into existence, explosions, eruptions, atomic explosions and bombs. You can see all this and watch it before your eyes. But everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound. Sound is the factor which holds it together. Sound is the basis of form and shape. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. We are told that this is how the worlds began and how creation took shape. If we put that into the modern idiom and say that into the great voids of space came a sound and matter took shape. Please watch carefully.
We can also use different shapes of plate. Here we have a triangular plate with a crystal attached to its underside and produce a sonorous figure. We change to a higher note and see a rather more complicated figure. This more elaborate figure, likewise on a steel plate, is also produced by vibration. The exciting crystal is attached to the upper corner of the plate. We use sand and lycopodium. The lycopodium moves to the center of the fields and takes up circular shapes. The sand forms the lines. Each material has its own special way of behaving. Lycopodium alone, a sonorous figure, transition to a mobile flowing phase, and back again to the figure. The sonorous figures represent stationary waves. But now we can also observe moving waves. Here the sand is flowing in a current. When the wavelengths are short, these currents produce a rotary effect. Areas become defined in which the particles are actually rotating.
Now, cymatics is the process of visualizing sound by basically vibrating a medium such as sand or water, as you can see there. So if we have a quick look at the history of cymatics, beginning with the observations of resonance by Da Vinci, Galileo, the English scientist Robert Hooke, and then Ernest Chladni. And he created an experiment using a metal plate, covering it with sand, and then bowing it to create the Chladni patterns that you see here on the right. Moving on from this, the next person to explore this field was a gentleman called Hans Jenny in the 1970s, and he actually coined the term cymatics. And then bringing us into the present day is a fellow collaborator of mine and cymatics expert, John Stuart Reid, and he's kindly recreated for us the Chladni experiment. What we can see here is a metal sheet, this time connected to a sound driver and being fed by a frequency generator. And as the frequencies increase, so do the complexities of the patterns that appear on the plate, as you can see for your own eyes. So, what excites me about cymatics? Well, for me, cymatics is an almost magical tool. It's like a looking glass into a hidden world, and through the numerous ways that we can apply cymatics, we can actually start to unveil the substance of things not seen. Devices like the cymoscope that you can see here are being used to scientifically observe cymatic patterns, and the list of scientific applications is growing every day. For example, in oceanography, a lexicon of dolphin language is actually being created by basically visualizing the sonar beams that the dolphins emit, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to gain some deeper understanding of how they communicate. We can also use cymatics for healing and education. This is an installation developed with school children where their hands are tracked, and it allows them to control and position cymatic patterns and the reflections that are caused by them. We can also use cymatics as a beautiful natural art form. This image here is created from a snippet of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony playing through a cymatic device. So it kind of flips things on its head a little bit. And this is Pink Floyd's Machine playing in real time through the cymoscope. We can also use cymatics as a looking glass into nature, and we can actually recreate the archetypal forms of nature. So for example, here on the left we can see a snowflake as it would appear in nature, and then on the right we can see a cymatically created snowflake. And here's a starfish and a cymatic starfish, and there's thousands of these. So what does this all mean? Well, there's still a lot to explore, and it's early days, and there's not many people working in this field. But consider for a moment that sound does have form, and we've seen that it can affect matter and cause form within matter. Then sort of take a leap and think about the universe forming, and think about the immense sound of the universe forming. And if we kind of ponder on that, then perhaps cymatics had an influence on the formation of the universe itself. And here's some eye candy for you from a range of DIY scientists and artists from all over the globe. And cymatics is accessible to everybody, and I want to urge everybody here to apply your passion, your knowledge, and your skills to areas like cymatics. And I think collectively we can build a global community, we can inspire each other, and we can evolve this exploration of the substance of things not seen. Thank you.
In the past years, we made different cymatic devices to create artwork series of paintings, photography, installations. For example, you can see here a device we made in which we induce sound waves inside the water just here, and we can create those shapes and all sorts of imagery. So let's keep this for later time when we will be doing our performance. So here's another example of an artwork we created using this same device. It is a photo print of a tone of 8 Hertz. 8 Hertz is very important for us because it is also very important for all of us. And it is the brain wave frequency of the awakened state. It's also, according to Schumann's resonance, the Earth's magnetic field's frequency. So Natalie and I, we like to make the link between man and earth, and something that really binds us is the water that is inside the human body, inside the human brain, about 80%. And you also have the same amount of water on Earth. And like you see, water vibrates, and we are all connected in this peculiar way. So, vibrating water, cymatics, what's really this thing? Cymatics, it is the science of visualizing sound through water, oils, sands. It was called cymatics in the 60s by Hans Jenny. He was a really great scientist, and he was saying that sound is everything. And within the great voids of space came a sound, and matter took shape. So now we can go back in time, way back in time, with Pythagoras. And Pythagoras found a numerical explanation of the universe and revealed the numerical ratio which determined the intervals of the musical scale. So the musical scale originated from his research, which was deeply inspired by his studies of the planets orbiting. For our new performance, we are using the orbital frequencies of the planets scaled to the hearing domain as a sound. And we vibrate these tones in water or sands with the devices here. Here's some planets, orbits we visualized in water. They were recorded in our studio, especially to show you here tonight. So you can get an understanding of different planets, have different orbits, make different sounds, and then produce different shapes inside the water. So the planet frequencies we use, they come from calculating the time it takes each planet to orbit the sun and their rotational speed. Pythagoras, he speaks about the harmony of the spheres. But later, in the 17th century, we had Kepler, who made more calculations and defined what he calls the music of the spheres. So we will here present to you some extracts of our performance for which we will show our interpretation of the music of the spheres, which are both to see and to hear. Sun, vibrating, Mercury, Venus, resonating, Mercury, Earth, resonating, Venus, Earth, resonating, Earth, Mars, resonating, Jupiter, Saturn, resonating, resonating, Uranus, Neptune resonating. Resonating, 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 resonating. Resonating, resonating, Understanding the universe has been a great questioning over the ages, from the most ancient civilizations to the contemporary science. Nowadays, we can digitally visualize the noise of the deep cosmos. We can now even hear the sound of the universe after the Big Bang.
Hey.